guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kirsten and I'm a middle school chorus teacher. I'm petting my dog. That's why my hand is moving in the background. But yeah, I'm a middle school chorus teacher and I post videos pretty frequently now that we're in quarantine about just lifestyle stuff, teaching things, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about how I became a teacher and my teaching journey. So if you're interested, just go ahead and stick around. I wanted to be a teacher from a very young age. I wanted to be a teacher from a very young age. I knew that I wanted to teach music later, but my mom was a teacher, and so when I was little, sometimes I would just play teacher in her classroom. I would write the date on her whiteboard for her every day after school, because I went to the same elementary school that she taught at. And I would write the date on the board every day for her for the next day, and sometimes I would ask if I could write the agenda, but of course I was in elementary school, so didn't have the best handwriting. Anyways, yeah, so the reason that I wanted to be a teacher is partially because my mom was a teacher and partially because I just had some really, really great teachers that inspired me to want to be a teacher. When I was in high school, I think I really realized my love for music when I was in high school. I knew that I really liked music. I loved musicals, I loved acting, anything performing arts. I absolutely loved all through growing up, but I didn't really realize that I could make a career out of that until much later in life, until really probably like my senior year of high school. I realized that I loved being in choir, I loved being in band, I loved being in the musicals, and I didn't want that to end, and I realized that it didn't have to. I could major in music education and become an educator who got to do all of those things every single year. And I truly feel so lucky for the job that I have and the position that I have, because I get to be that person that inspired me when I was younger to my students, and hopefully they feel that way. I absolutely love teaching choir. I love being able to just pour into my students, and I really miss being in the classroom with them. But anyway, so after high school and after I applied to colleges, I changed my mind on graduation day of where I wanted to go to school. I decided that I did not want to go to school in Florida anymore. I wanted to stay a little bit closer to home. So I ended up changing the school that I wanted to go to. This is Bella, by the way. Changing the school that I wanted to go to. I decided that I wanted to go to Virginia Commonwealth University in Richmond, Virginia. And if you don't know much about Virginia or Richmond, it's a really great city. It has a beautiful river. It's a smaller city, actually a really cool place. It kind of reminds me in some ways of a mini New York if you're downtown in Richmond, but it's definitely not that big. But it's a beautiful place, and I ended up staying here, so that just goes to tell you how cool it is. But anyway, so I went to college at VCU, which is a school that has a sector for the arts within it. So I went to VCU Arts and I majored in music education, and in order to get into VCU I had to audition to get into the music program and also apply to get into the school. So it was a pretty nerve-wracking process, to be honest with you. I was terrified to audition. I mean, I love performing and I've done it before, but there's something different about it being, you know, the deciding factor of your life if you're going to be able to move on to go and do that thing that you've been hoping and dreaming and wanting to do your whole life. So anyways, I decided that I really, really wanted to go to VCU later in the game, and thankfully they let me go. My sister went to VCU and I knew she had a great experience, and I just knew from visiting her in Richmond that I really liked Richmond. They thankfully let me in literally on graduation day from my high school. I got the email at my graduation party that I was going to VCU, which was so funny. Nothing against Florida, but I don't know, I got this gut feeling later that that wasn't my path, that wasn't what I was meant to do. I had that in my mind for so long that I wanted to go to that specific school, and ultimately it just wasn't for me anymore. So my reasoning for deciding that I wanted to go somewhere else was that I just decided, you know what, it's not too late. I don't have to go somewhere that I don't feel like isn't my path. I just need to ask. And so I reached out and they let me go. So that was great. I had a great time at VCU. There are definitely some ups and downs in college. I mean, college is hard. It's a really hard time because you're working so hard to reach your goals, and a lot of times you're doing things for free, and it's a great experience. It's a great thing to add to your resume, but it feels like you're working and working towards this goal that will it ever get there? But it did. I eventually got into my education classes. So it starts with practicum, which for me, that started in middle school practicum, which is like an internship. So I started out in middle school, then we did elementary school practicum, and then we did high school practicum, and I loved all of my hosts. They were all amazing. They showed me so many cool things about all the different levels, because for a music education major, you're actually certified K through 12, so I can teach elementary, middle, or high school. But I know for other teaching certificates, I believe that you major in a subject area if you want to teach 6 through 12, and if you want to teach elementary school, you major in elementary education, because obviously if you're an elementary teacher, you do it all. You teach math and science and reading and writing and everything. So anyways, there's different fields that you can get into. So for me, it was music education, so I'm certified K through 12. I got to do internships in all of the different levels, middle, elementary, and high school, and that was the sequencing order that we went to. And then our final semester, we student taught. So that experience for me just blew me away. I absolutely loved my hosts. I had the best time. I started out in high school, which I was terrified about, because honestly, I never could have seen myself teaching high school before that experience. I was so terrified of high schoolers and so terrified of the level of musicianship that you have to have in order to teach high school, because it's one thing to be able to sing that music or play that music yourself and teach yourself that music, but it's another thing entirely to be able to teach it to a group of people who maybe don't know how to read music, and you have to teach them from the beginning how to read music, or how to read music and learn music that's much harder than what they could teach themselves. So it takes a level of mastery and practice that is a lot. So I was terrified, and if I'm honest, I would not have placed myself in high school. I would have just said and elected for elementary and middle school, and that's what I asked for, but of course I got high school. And I wouldn't change that. I absolutely loved my host, and I loved my experience. The students where I student taught were amazing, and I had a great time, and I truly learned so much that I don't think I would have learned anywhere else, and I'm so thankful for that time. So I had a beautiful time student teaching, and if you are getting to the point that you're about to student teach next year, or if you're in practicum, or you're thinking about becoming a teacher, student teaching is that time that you can just soak everything in. You get to watch a master teacher. Sorry guys, I thought my camera stopped recording. The screen turned off, and oh, geez, getting a little frisky. The screen turned off, and that scared me, but I think I was talking about student teaching. So I would just encourage you to take risks during that time. I mean, truly, student teaching is the time for you to just soak it all up, and you're paying for your education. So this is the time to just take risks, do as much as your teacher, your host teacher will let you do, because eventually the goal is for you to have your own classroom, and there's no one there to walk you through what happened and help you and root for you and cheer you on, except for your students. So I highly encourage you to just have fun with it, and truly, students will love you. If you are yourself, they will love you, and if you try to be anything but yourself, they see through it. So just be you, and don't try to mimic anyone else or what anyone else is doing. So I just encourage you guys to soak it in. You will have the best time student teaching. And then my second placement that I went to was elementary school. I absolutely loved my elementary school host. He was just such a kind person. He was so funny, and how he taught students just really stuck with me and resonates with me even now. Both hosts, honestly, I've learned so much from both of them, but both of them were completely themselves and completely different people, and I just had an amazing time with both hosts. So After that, before that, I had to take a test called the praxis, and that test basically, also just really loved all of the music education opportunities that were in this area. So ultimately, I became a middle school teacher. My first year I taught middle and high school, and that was so much work. I loved both schools and I loved my students both places, but ultimately I decided to go with middle school because I just felt like it fit my lifestyle a little bit more, and as a younger teacher, I just feel more comfortable at this point in my life teaching middle school. So I have a great time teaching with my students every day. I miss them so much right now in quarantine, but I do get to conference with them and do different fun assignments with them through online learning. So distance learning is definitely a very strange adjustment, especially as a music teacher, because there's a lot of things that I just really can't do online. So it's been a really strange adjustment, but I'm thankful that I still have my students. I'm thankful that I still have a job right now. And I just encourage you that if you are planning or wanting to become a teacher, it is a lot of work. It's a whole lot of work. It is a hard job and sometimes a thankless job, but it is so rewarding. I love my students. I love my job. And if you go into it for the right reasons, I think that you will absolutely love it. It's definitely not a job that you'll get high praise. You obviously don't go into it for the money. So if teaching interests you, I say go for it. I love teaching. I couldn't see myself doing anything else than teaching music. So that is pretty much all I have for you. I'm going to end the video here. I hope that you guys have a beautiful day. If you are not subscribed, goodness gracious, Bella. If you are not subscribed, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And if you liked this video, don't forget to like, because it really helps to support my channel. If you're a future teacher, please let me know in the comments down below. Or if you're a current teacher, I would just love to hear what you guys are doing and what your goals are for this year if you're a teacher, and how you've been doing, honestly. So I'm gonna go take Bella for a walk because she's got a lot of energy. I'll see you guys later. Bye.